of Earth. Welcome to Astro Monday. We are going to get live with Christopher Witecki. Let me see if I can send out an invite. And while I'm doing that, guys, let me know where you're tuning in from and what has been going on in the last few days since we joined you last Monday. How was the lunar eclipse? And how's things going right now? And guys, definitely share this with people that you care about, people that you would like to be in tune with the map of reality. Chris does a really good job of laying out what to pay attention to and also why. Like you actually learn some things on these lives. So we got Chris Hayden in Ojai. He's right down the street from me. Amsterdam, Holland, Chile, beautiful eclipse energy. Yes. Macklin, I felt a major recharge and shift. I definitely felt a shift as well. I've been feeling a portal opening up the last few weeks, and then something tangible happened that's never happened in my life that I'm really excited about the last couple days ago. It's wonky, but I feel a change. Love from Goleta, which is also right down the street. Rough few days with some challenging news. Toronto. Guys, let us know what's been going on in your reality. How's the emotions been? How's the thoughts been? How's the environment been and the experiences? How is it going? And then that gives me a little bit of an indication of how everyone's going, and then that matters when I talk to Christopher. Surprise, Arizona, Toronto. I remember that Surprise, Arizona from last week. Texas, New York State, Sydney, Australia. No way, tell us. We'll see. We'll see if I tell you. Did I have a baby yet? No, I didn't. That's not what I was referring to, though. Yadnum. The green juice is delicious. What's up, Benjamin? Let me invite Chris up here again. I like to just bother his phone. I like to think that these are giving him notifications, but I have no idea if it is. Noticing. Kansas City, Missouri, wild dreams of being attacked and attacking others, each a different scenario. That's crazy. My wife and I both had wild dreams, not last night, but well, she did last night as well, now that I'm remembering, but we both did the night before. Desert of Tucson, setting up the silkscreen printing lab. Nice. That was always something I wondered about doing, to make my own merch. Feeling good, releasing shifts. Now we wait for the star of the show. Also had some weird dreams over the last couple days. Noticing fears and subconscious limiting beliefs, but just observing them like watching a movie. The thing is, when those fears and uncertainty come up, they usually come around a few times. And if we ignore them and we push them away, usually they just keep on coming around. We just keep on ignoring them. But if we observe them, watch them, notice them, usually when they come around again, it allows it to sort of penetrate into our life a little bit more, which means it's less fearful. So it's almost like the resisting of them keeps it far away from us so that we're unable to move forward into them. But the more open we are to them, even if we don't act on them the first time, but we're just like recognizing, like, I really am afraid of this thing. And we just go into that. Usually when it comes around again, it's like, I'm not as afraid of this thing. And then it gets easier to just do it eventually. What's up, bro? The dude from Austin here. What's up? David Garcia, official. Surfed the eclipse, and it could be somebody that I met and had a full conversation with that I forget because I've had lots of concussions in my life. Or I'm ascending and memory is not serving me anymore because I'm always in the present moment. I don't know, but guys, if you meet me in person and I don't remember you from a conversation we had last week, it's the concussions. Apologies. It makes me look like a big a-hole all the time, and it's something I deal with.
Hello, sir.
What's up?
How are you, man? Oh,
Good.
man, it's not bad hair day. It's been a bad hair day for a while. We're having like humidity out here today.
It's been a wild hair day for you for a while.
Yeah, it has been. It's just been going crazy, but that's all right. It means life's changing. You
Yeah,
know?
life is changing. Yeah, things are going well for me. I had a profound thing happen in regards to what you've been saying. I've been feeling like this portal was opening, a different portal than I've talked about publicly. Um, but yeah, and then something tangible happened that is pretty exciting. So that's what's going on in my life last
That
few
was
days.
Vegas. That's about as Vegas it gets. So, alien visitation.
So like I've always made a lot of money, like comfortable money my entire life,
Mhm,
always. And
mhm.
I've never ever paid attention to it. I just always had enough to buy whatever I would like, to live wherever I
Right,
want. Like I just always had enough. Never been
right.
a reason to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But I've been feeling like when you've been saying shift is coming and you've been talking about this, like I've been feeling like that's the avenue that's going to change. And then this is so silly. I didn't
Go
really
ahead.
want to say this, but for the first time ever in my life, I did a budget and like got
Oh,
all my
yeah.
finances down like in front of me to see where every single dollar is coming in and every single dollar is going out. And that just happened a few days ago, and it really feels like a profound shift for me.
It is.
It,
Well, that's interesting. I think you come from a rural past life, and so I don't think you. I think it's just not your instinct. I mean, the Western world, kind of like I think it's somewhat new to you. Like, you know,
yeah,
if you see like when you're
yeah.
like all in buffalo gear on stage, kind of like it's like you really see that lifetime in you. But like so that's like the white man's way that came much later. So there's nothing to feel silly about in that regard because honestly, your
Thank
your
you.
your intuition was like keeping track of all of it. Obviously,
Right.
my
Somehow.
intuition does too. I know pretty much every dollar in the bank and every dollar missing too. Like yeah, without checking. But fortunately, they have the systems now to automate it. So we're really lucky. We never have to learn.
Right. Right. But
Yeah.
it does feel like a big change. Just like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. Um,
Yeah, because knowing what you have precisely with evidence beyond without with evidence with all evidence beyond a benefit of doubt, right? Benefit of doubt, you now have the capacity to sort of like use it as a more crystallized instrument of manifestation. The more clear you are on the
there you go.
detail,
Yeah.
the more clear on the detail, the more clear on the detailed return.
Right.
Because everything clarifies, right? So yeah, it's fascinating.
It's like the more you check on something and quantify it, the more you're focusing on it.
100%. Like the more, yes, exactly, because you put more time and energy into it. Quite simply, so more time and energy equals. Now, it doesn't always equal manifestation. In some cases, because sometimes time and energy goes to something that counters what you've already done. So you just mill yourself out.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting. I think have fun. This is the last hurrah with money. Honestly, I think money's the reason why money's waiting to go away. The only reason money hasn't gone away yet is because guys like you haven't done it. And that's backwards to what one would think. So you have to try everything on earth. You have to. And so we won't get our money until people like you go try to be rich. Like everyone has to try to be abundant. Everyone has to try to do it. So if it's never mattered to you, I mean, if it's something you were interested in and never acted on, let's put it that way. Now, if you never, ever, 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 ever looked at it, which is almost impossible. I mean, it's impossible now to not do that. You were forced to look at it. So we've all been forced to want money, and therefore we've all been forced to have to earn it. There's like an old story about, this guy who was going to ascend in India, and he had to like sleep in a palace of gold for a whole night because he spent too many lifetimes dreaming about having one. They're like, we can't ascend you until you have to live this experience. And so they create this gold palace for him to sleep in one night because they basically helped him cheat. The ascend masters helped him cheat, so to speak, like to have it, so that they could just check it off on the list and let him go. because he had wished for it so many times. He was attached to those. He was attached to those intentions in Mother Earth. Mother Earth doesn't forget any intentions; they hold
That's
on to them.
crazy. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So
Hmm.
you have to fulfill your intentions. So it's very, don't be careful. Say what what you desire and what you want, because it's all going on record in the Akashic, and nothing gets nothing gets skipped over, not one thought. So, and everything goes into the manifestation because Mother Earth receives every one. Receives all of them. Just goes in. She receives every request every child has.
So these requests, as you say, are they happening in real time, or like are these desires being downloaded into us, and then that's why we have a desire?
We accept and receive them. Step 6, and then we commit. Step 8.
Okay.
So we go through those actions. We play out those steps, and those steps are fulfilled, and then they stay on hold until you fulfill the other steps. So let's say, oh, I accept the fact that I would like to be rich, and I decide I will be rich, or I will be wealthy. And so it's like, but did you do anything? Step 9, no. Okay, well, there's no waiting period. Did you love and hold space? Number 10, no. Did you become wealthy? Like just like walk the talk, like Richie Rich, even though you have the money? No, no. Just gonna sit here. You sit on Earth till you do it. You know what I mean? Like it's basically because it's it's half finished, or not even half, but incomplete. Uh, enchantments is what we're calling them now. Not manifestations anymore. They're enchantments. That's what we changed the word just recently. I changed the word. I should say I did. For my own guidance, I was told to use enchantment because part of it is that it's more true to how it works, and secondly, there's just a lot of negative, misleading connotations with other words,
Like manifestation.
like manifestation, yeah, and wizardry and magic. Magic is just full
Yeah.
of much dark as it is good.
Yeah.
So these words invoke the entire collective conscious meaning, which is why pharmaceuticals invent words for pills. They know full well they don't want to have any consciousness on the medicine they make. They want to own all the consciousness and all the rights to all the words. So the fact that they can actually pull the word from it's being written in the newspaper, they can maintain that it never has negativity attached to it, which means pharmaceuticals are what are spelling. Like Invictahar and all these weird spellings that they do. They spell these words in all these weird ways. That's a spell. That's literally a spell. And part of the spell is
Because
that,
it's a unique sound.
well,
That's not like grow hair pill. It's
right.
it's this weird thing
No,
that
it's made of other partial words that they want you to like put together in your brain. So your brain puts together these partial words, and they come with unique spelling, so that no one has the word in the dictionary, which is the official book of all words. And so they own the legal rights to that spelling of the words, called trademark. And so therefore, anyone who spells the words cannot spell the words without their permission, which means that no one can change their spell without their permission. No one can fuck with their spell. And literally, they put you in a commercial where they put you
that's
under a spell.
crazy.
They put you under a spell where they give you the spell name and they say that this is what it's going to do for you. But then
Right.
they also say this is what it could do bad to you.
Right. You accept it. Do
You
you
accept
accept
both
it?
good and the bad. I mean, if you buy it, you accept it. That's your saying you
Right.
accept it. So ultimately we fall under a spell. In a science that we know that over 50% placebo will actually cure themselves from the idea of having the medicine, which
Hmm.
means that you're basically starting the placebo. They're counting on the placebo effect to save you in the medicine, and they're not only counting on it, they're
Right.
actually creating the placebo effect ahead of time with the branding and the spelling of the word. That's my
Ah,
take on it.
yeah. They're optimizing the likelihood
Placebo.
that the placebo.
They know placebo works. They're studying something that costs 100 times more than just the belief that it's going to fix you, and then they pack in the actual God created belief it's going to fix you to make sure it fixes enough of you to where they have a case that they tried to fix you. It's brilliant. You gotta give them credit for the brilliance.
Yeah. I mean,
We see you, pharmaceuticals. Like we see
right.
you. We see you.
Right. It's already being done by
Hmm.
the big boys.
Totally. I mean, yeah. So it's fascinating times we live in, but at least we're starting to see these things. Like we're trying to understand and see them now. Understand. Don't use the word understand. Use understand.
Right. Right.
Understand means you stand under.
Right. To stand under. There's some comments about the moon.
Oh, what about today, right now? Or
Uh,
the lunar eclipse we just
yeah.
had?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense, man. Oh, it was intense. It was absolutely intense for me. How was it for you over the weekend?
Well, Carolina slept like all day, so
Hmm.
that was kind of crazy. But
She did it subconscious. Yeah.
I actually felt super alive. She was down, so it was like we had opposite
Mm,
effects.
mm. I was definitely aware and awake, and watching the whole thing go down. for me, I was watching a lot of things I predicted happened for me in my life, to where I people basically blundered and revealed their lies, without knowing. So I was shown who's lying and so I was shown like who's lying, who wasn't to me, which is I've been predicting would happen to others, which is funny. So I'm like, prediction of others, does that actually make it for me? Pretty much so. Like whenever I predict, I'm very careful to make predictions because I'm pretty much saying throwing myself in that boat. Right, like because I'm manifesting it. I mean, I have to be very careful. It's like when I say this could happen, I'm saying out loud in the word this could happen. And so as an astrologer, I'm setting myself for it. I have to turn around and remember to go. I predict it from happening to me, it from happening to me. But I still want to be good and let people know. And some people don't know, unaware. So it's a catch 22. But so yeah, there's some theft in my life. There was a lot of very interesting stuff, some lies, like some weird stuff, and people just showing me sides of them. These are all just variety of characters. No one like close, which is good. Like no one really close. So there's no heartbreak,
I've
which is
had to
good.
deal with theft a lot. I mean, you do when you're the owner of a or the contributor. Like when you're the person, there's a lot to take from you. How do you personally deal with like finding out that and like obviously emotions come up and there's like the choice of how do you respond to that. And so if you
It's
could,
interesting. I've been debating how to respond. Actually, I'm still debating whether or not I should pursue it, for consequence or not. Because I haven't come to the conclusion that that would be any good for me in the end, because it might just keep the cycle going. You know what I mean? Like, because I just contributed to it again. So will I get money back? Probably not. I mean, like, it's like certain legal pursuit might get them in trouble, but that would not get me my money back. Like, the way it works. So you might get your money back. You just, what the privilege of seeing them go to jail or something, like, it's like, that's not really a privilege. I just help someone, go to jail. I'm thinking that that might get me in the hook for me going to jail. You know what I mean? Like someday, like
right,
because I assisted someone in going to jail, then someone assisted me. I know how it works. And then the other thing is like, and so part of me thinks it's
that's
the
an
final.
important point, actually. That's a really
Yeah,
important point.
justice. I mean, the idea of justice. I don't know. Justice and karma don't go hand in hand. Okay, karma does not say it equal justice. Okay, that's not what karma is. It's not a hand for a hand, an eye for an eye. That's an Arabian thing. That's an Arabian religion there. That's not necessarily what we hear in heaven. What we hear in heaven is that you'll experience what it was like to be that person, like to be in that position. Okay, you'll experience what it's like to be in that position. The position you put people in, you will once experience that what it's like. This is a and you may not be the same way. So a person may be like be tortured. Like a person may be tortured in prison and lose their eyesight because of some horrible fight. Does that mean you're gonna lose your eyesight because of some horrible fight? No, you might lose your eyesight in that next life over some disease. Has nothing to do with the horrible fight. You never have any violence to do with it. There's just a loss of sight that was traumatic to the person, right? So it's like, so it's a loss of sight and temporary, so it came back or whatever. The point is like, it's not eye for an eye, so, but it is
Whoa, it's way more dynamic than eye for an eye.
a lot more resolution than they're giving it. And from what we know, and we know this from past live reading, when I have a reading and I hear the client talk about it and I can see my third eye, like what happened or what I can see happen. And then they have stories from other psychics. So we put it all together, all the evidence together, we can come up with something, a consensus. So there's that. And there's also the fact that like, I can't ignore the fact that my whole life, no one's stolen from me. Okay. And I've never stolen. Like I stole a piece of candy. I stole a piece of candy. When I was like 6, and I felt so guilty. Piece of candy from the store. Like the store has like piles of candy. I took one and I ate it. Right. So like I felt bad about it. So I never stole. I've always been a very generous person. Very very generous. Overly generous actually. And so for the most part, I always thought that my over generosity would just people be like would feel that like an asshole stealing from me. Like so I just kind of counted on that. But I realized if I've been stolen from, that means I have stolen from myself. That's what's changed. Somewhere I've been stealing from myself. So I started thinking about that. And it's like, where am I stealing from myself? And I see where it is. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it on the air, but like I see where I have taken things from myself that I told myself I could have and I took it back.
I'm
You know?
laughing at a comment that says that you're stealing hearts too.
oh, oh shit. Oh boy, I'm in trouble now. No, I did not steal. You gave without yeah, we did not have a good contract. I did not steal. No. But yeah. So, anyways, it comes down to I'm learning the matrix. Like it comes down to me with me, and there's some things I guess I'm upset about with myself. But the thing is, they've been accelerating. They've been growing in size and frequency. So the other thing I've thought was like, I think the universe is finding me for something. I think that's what it feels like. He's like, okay, there's a fine. I was like, what? A fine? Because I know with my higher self, it's like, don't punish me, but fine me, that'll piss me off. Like, fines piss me off. Like, like taking money for something, like, oh, you're wrong. We want your money. He's like, fuck. I've always hated that kind of form of like hand slapping, right? So I kind of feel like in my belief structure, if I'm getting somebody stolen from a number of times since I've been here, and Palm Springs has this like it's really funny the way it is. It's very desert, like very, very pretty, and then a very, very, like a very dark side too. Like, when the sun's out, it's bright, and when the sun's gone, it's dark, right? Like, it has those comparisons. I can see people come here who are lost, and these people steal, like it's so new to me. But I've lived in the cities and stuff, like, um, and these people have offered things too, what I mean? I'm sure they're offering people help, and they're taking on top of it. It's really weird.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
That's how
so,
it
uh,
works.
so, but I'm trying to get lost in like the old classic discussion of it. And I'm giving people an opportunity to opt out of the karma and saying, look, you'll have no, I will not pursue this anyway. Just return it and like we're good, right? Like I will
Right.
not, I will forgive you and we'll go on. Like call it a mistake, don't do it again. Like so, I give people complete opt out, for immunity, and they're not taking it ever. So it's like okay, I don't know if I would have if I was in that stage either. It's a means of guilt in a weird way. And what if I turned on them? See, the thing is, when you turn on people, then you're afraid that the people who offer you things will turn on you. So it's like that's where it gets
Right.
it's
Yeah.
shitty. So it's like if you're an asshole and you don't live up to your word, then when someone offers you something nice, you're assuming they'll be an asshole and not live up to the word. So you're projecting yourself onto the person. So
Exactly.
I see what's going on the whole time. And then part of me thinks that this is just a distraction. It's just like, okay, wait a second. you know, what is this drama? I have things to do on this planet. I have things, I have things to manifest. But ultimately, I do think it's that my heart is upset that I promised the things I haven't given yet, and I keep putting it off. And so my heart's starting to call me a thief.
Mm.
I was like, no, I'm not a thief. I plan to pay it back. Like I'm like, you say that every lifetime. That kind of thing. So I think that's kind of where we're at. Eye to eye, soul to soul. And focusing on what's important.
Yeah. For me, I unless it's very important, very apparent why it's sort of like closing a cycle, my default is to go into the future when
Oh,
something like this is happening. And it's like, oh, well, this is being taken from me now, maybe so that in the future it's going to cycle around and give it to me. That's
mm,
where my mentality default goes to.
that's where my soothing goes to. One day I'll show you. Like the soothing is like is that I count on the future.
Right.
And that's a detachment from the present, right? So
Yeah.
it's a detachment from your power overall, um,
Right.
but um, but still necessary. So I guess when this happened, I'm really practicing my own teachings, and just like when it happened, I found out about it like in a social setting, like, and so I was like, so right away I was like, like upset. But then I saw myself, I'm like, wait a second, I can't reply to myself this way, I can't respond to myself this way, can't be upset with myself, can't be upset with the world, like it's not going to do any good. So I did, the first positive here was an exercise. And this is over the eclipse. It's an eclipse time. So like, fuck. Because I knew at the same time it was like a moment of relationships ending. And then I thought, wow, maybe I'm relating to the wrong person here. Like maybe I should not have been, I didn't belong in this relationship in the first place, this person. Like,
Right.
and maybe I ignored that sign. And maybe I have like a God complex where I have to help everybody. And I just really need to be actually, ironically, it sounds so back ass worse, but it's like, try to be less of a nice person because you don't have any right to be there in the first place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you overstepped it arrogantly to be nice when you shouldn't have. Like, maybe I should not have, could not have. Like that's another line of thinking. Like, oh, that was
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. It certainly was. There's a time when like being nice and stuff was for attention. It was a way to be seen differently. I definitely when I was growing up, like, the nice guy went farther, and I tried to be nicer and nicer. So it wasn't manipulation. It was actually just strategy. Just like looking at the number out there, like the number of good guys is low. Let's do that. That's the real estate investor and be like, no, there's more value in that real estate. There's less real estate. So it's open price. So thinking those along strategically because I am like a player. I do like to see how to win the game, and so I have fun. I was never in sports or anything, but I do like looking at society and going, how do you get to the top? That'd be fun. Like how do you navigate there? How do you get there? That's fun to me. That's a fun game. It's not about stepping on heads ever. I think if you step on heads, then you're cheating. So anyone ever cheat because you won't feel good at the top if you have cheated. So it's just this whole thing, but it's all unraveling like a wildfire. So we'll see. At the end of the day, I'm okay. I mean, it wasn't horrible, just enough to hurt. It's just like okay, you know.
I know you work with a lot of teachers in Sirius Joy Academy and just all of your channels. And so what you touched on was a fine line with teachers where we impose on other people by giving unsolicited advice or even energy and to try and lift somebody up to our level. Is like, do you have any additional teachings on that, and does that incur karma? I guess that's the question. Is are we
Well, yeah, I mean, I do know, and I have learned that they have to ask. And
okay?
so, and I'll tell them, I've got information if you ask. Like, I'll advertise that I have something they have to ask for. So that's as far as I'll go. They have to ask for it. So I didn't used to ask. I mean, I've used it as a weapon before. I mean, honestly, when I was younger, like, what your chart says, like I've had that moment, like, and then there's like, that's lame. That's so lame. Like, it's just, you know what? I'm going to blame that on past life shit. I just like, yeah, I mean, tell me, like, I think it was, there's many lifetimes I was probably an asshole. I'm sure, like, I'm sure of it. Most nice people now were assholes in past lives, like,
I was an asshole this life for a long
yeah.
time.
Well, that was you replaying. See, that was you replaying the past life, probably. I mean,
Yeah, it was the first few decades of this life.
yeah, it's crazy to see the evil raw. The idea that,
It
yeah.
was it was able to be expressed in full contact sports and gym ownership, which was just basically like boot camp style, yelling at people all day long. Anything
Oh,
goes. Yeah.
right.
Someone's not doing push-ups deep enough, I step on their back and push their chest down to the ground all the way. Like if someone shows up late, I make the rest of every single person in the gym do 100 burpees because and the person that showed up late watches everybody else do burpees. Like I don't know what I was doing, but that
You,
that
you, you, you witnessed before. I mean, I'm not, yes, you have responsibility. Once you're aware of it, you did it anyways. Sure. At
and
that point,
towards the end of it, I would like towards the end, like the last few years of it, I would at the end of the day look back at my day, and it would almost be like I was blacked out all day, and I would just be like, I said that to people. I did this. People are paying me to do this. It would be like I was
spell.
watching a character. Yeah.
You would underspell. I think that's a good point because I remember the same. I would go into a spell. It was really weird. Is like my brothers. I would fight with my brothers, like violently fight and hurt them, like as kids. I mean, I was 6 and they were 6, 4, 2 or whatever. Like, so it wasn't like a huge adult like going after kids. But I remember I would go into a spell. There's a spell of violence, and I would wake up like not knowing why. My mom would be like, "Why'd you hit him?" I'm like, "I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I don't know what came over me." And I think that sometimes we go into some sort of like past life spell. But this character of ours came from the past life comes out, and replays and reestablishes the karma and subconscious. Because honestly, I don't spend a day thinking about hurting people, not one day, not 1 minute. And then it was an age, I don't know what it was, but it just suddenly turned off, like gone. Like just like suddenly I knew like that's wrong. And I was
Right.
like, oh, my parents told me it's wrong for years, but one day I'm just like, it's wrong. I was like, okay, yeah, I still feel bad about that. I didn't let that go because it's not who I am. I think that's what's hard about me now because I think about, our relationships are like great, me and my brothers, and I'm like, oh, feel like I was wiser at 6, kind of thing. I also think that I was picking up my parents' anger and hatred for each other, and I do think that I was picking up on my parents' anger, and my body was flipping out. I just needed an outlet for it, like he just because I was an empath as a kid, so I'd go into asthma attacks or I'd go into the anger fits, so. But I think it's also past life of being a soldier.
There you go.
Yeah, I was a soldier, big time. I'm a soldier and commander, all this stuff. So if you didn't follow rules, we killed you. It's real simple. So yeah, that's in my chart too. You can see all that stuff.
I feel like we revealed a lot about ourselves today in this
We
show.
did. It's yeah. What is this? What's this called? What is this called? What do we call this? Mondays with
Ma
Chris
and
and Gary, I
Chris.
think. Yeah, I think it's Mondays with Chris and Gary. Actually,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
you should put a title request for it, like change the artwork. I know Gary's just getting like accolades and
Yeah,
over and over again.
he's getting his 10% no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. 11 probably. He knows 11's better. But yeah, yeah. It's funny how things happen like that. Yeah.
So
Uh,
what's going on this week, astrology wise?
well, I mean, so now what happens is we just had a lunar eclipse at 15, and so far in the aftermath, I would say it's like what 15 is what's fair, and so unfair has come up. Like what's unfair, so that's interesting. Relationships that are you're better without have come up for me, like very clear, and not just relationships, but types of relationships, right? Like this type, like whole types of relationships, types of personality types too. Where I'm just like, I'm done with this personality type. Like, I don't know why I was trying to, I don't know what. I'm sure there's a selfish motive, in that. Maybe it's the way to fight back in Atlantis, pissed me off, and I'm still trying to get that kind of person to, agree with me. Maybe that's it. Um, so today's a spiritual day. It's net 16, net 7. So we're like, our spirits are opening up, our hearts are opening up, and we're processing where we stand with all this stuff. And what we're looking at is reality, like what we become, right? What we become. And so in many ways, I don't like what I become. That's what I'm realizing. Like, I don't like I become this person's, whatever, daddy warbucks or whatever. Like, I don't like I become this and that. I don't like that I become that. That's not who my heart wants to be. I become. And more of that. I don't want more of that to come. And so that's really right. The threshold hub is, do I want relationships to continue like this in my new becoming? It's unbecoming. Therefore, I don't want to become it. And, tomorrow we start to decide what we will become, and usually from what we won't, because it's a net 8 day. So usually net 8 day, it's like no to the bottom half of the 8 and yes to the top of the 8. And then on Friday we take action and we go forward with it, and start to move forward with it. And then we're going to then begin to try to build a life that is cut off in the middle. So it's like, this is weird because we build the steps from 0 to 14, and we're like, hell yeah. And we get to 15 and the bridge goes out. And so we're like, wow, there's no, like the bottom and top of us have been split, which is weird, So it's like the foundation of who we are, it's not necessarily directly supporting, but we had a critical step missing in the middle. It's weird. I mean, that's a weird thing. 15, the bridge got washed out with the storm. So now we build from memory. I don't know. Maybe we're learning how to fly. I haven't got my head around it yet, but we now commit to this future we want, not necessarily connected to. I'm sitting here thinking out loud, but if you are connected to if you connect your future to who you become, you've manually sewed that in, because you can become one person and create a different future now very easily if you want to. So it's like what that allows for, that cutout 15 yesterday is, oh, I was a good man to this, but you know what? I don't have to tie the good man to the future because there's a missing piece there, which are all the relationships that support that good man, or significant ones or whatever. It's like you cut away, certain chords to that person's, future. And so from this point forward, we can like record from new people we meet at 16. Like, oh, hey, how are you? You survive? We survive. So like survivors, like, you have all these cliques of all these popular people. And then the ones that survive is like one person from every group. Like now they're a whole group. Like, so it's kind of like we've got this. I'm just looking at logistically, we can start chords from, and you can start false chords. You could be a fraud at this point. You could say, I come from this, but there's no conscious connection to the other side. So, you can't like really see it or feel it really, really well. It's a weird thing. I'm not sure what it's allowing for. Allowing for something, bad to come in. Imposters, I'm not sure. Or a second chord. But, the way you play the game from this point is, who do you want to become? And I'm changed from the events. Like I've changed significantly. I'm changing a lot. With generosity, a lot of my things are thinking of changing. This goes true with actually even, these Sirius Joy too. It's like, I've given Sirius Joy, Namaste Today, been on the air for 20 years. I mean, not 20,
Today.
but I've been on the air. I've been on the air for 20 years. It's come January. I mean, it was a different show for the first 5 or 6, but and that was free to the public, thousands of people, and not even YouTube paid me. So it's like, I'm like, this is how economy's not working. Maybe that's what I'm stealing for myself right there. I'm taking all my own stuff and I'm saving for myself and giving it to everybody. Steal my food and give it out to people. It's like, so there's that to look at. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm having thoughts about all kinds of change. Not one to be like dark. Suddenly we like an Avenger wears a dark suit and goes after Superman. Like I'm, I'm not gonna be bitter and like become one of those characters. Like, but it makes you, I don't know. It's a really interesting head scratcher. But between now and the end of the week, what we do is we commit to who we want to become and what we want our life to become. And a lot of it's the same for me. Like a lot of the qualities are still there. And the ones that are still there, were very strong to begin with. You know, I guess I'm looking now at like what am I not including? What do I need to include? What am I forgetting? You know, what am I? Because a lot of us were chasing. At least us, the Gen Xers, we all have Chiron and Aries. Okay, so our ego fucked up another lifetime, and so because it's our ego has controlled the first half of this life again. Under the guise of being good. So it's like
Hmm.
your ego's bad. You fucked up. You did something you don't like. You're ashamed of. Your ego went too far, pushed too hard in past life, and so this life it was justified. At least mine was justified to push just as hard to do good because it had to
Right.
prove that it wasn't bad. It's like, and damn it, the ego almost got me again. You know what I mean? Like try to be the good guy. So it's like getting that in check. That part for us Gen Xers. I would say every political generation has got where they're kind of coming to Jesus now, um, and not later. I mean, like you think each one come like at a certain age in their life, but it's a collective awareness. So the baby boomers, they're in their 70s. You know, when they're 70s and 80s when they just realize this, and Gen Xers are like from 55 to like 30, 33, maybe 35. So no 38, I think. And I think millennials are like 38 down to like 20, and then like under 19, under 18 is like the Generation Z, or
Zers.
yeah, or the alphas. So because Y is millennial, but anyways, the point is we're all realizing it now. I think we're all realizing our generational issue now, which is interesting from an astrology point, because it's like, oh, you know, um, you think it was a certain age, but it's when the planet's a certain age. So there's a lot of these kind of deep thoughts, because the Earth is in Pisces, and so when you're like stuck in reality, you go to Spirit. That's the only counterbalance. Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. So we manifest new spiritual theory when we face, material, you know, travesties or unhappiness. Now, what didn't happen in the material, you know? So basically, it's kind of, it's each every person's own walk, walk alone in the desert, kind of. This is everyone's 40 days,
That's
kind of.
happening, like, yeah, currently, right? Where
Mm-hmm,
we're
hmm.
detaching, we're cutting away, we're becoming what we choose.
Yeah, we're going back to ourself as a creator, and everyone has to do it. No one gets out of it, and you know, and it's rare in life I've seen this happen. I mean, you know, COVID kind of was, but not like this. Because COVID was again another threat of disaster. So it's like the same old drama that we always play. This time
It
we're
was
actually,
too contained though. We didn't really have much expression during COVID. Everybody changed and there was awareness and there was choice of how you respond, but still it was the world was on lockdown. We couldn't there wasn't as dynamic of a situation as there is right now where we literally are all free to do and act and think however we feel like.
hmm hmm and more aware that we have those choices than ever before. So yeah, it's a quiet moment. I imagine it's gonna be stirred up soon. We get to Libra. Shift to the fan, I assume. I'd always thought that something in Virgo would be the cause, but the reaction will be in Libra because Libra is reaction. It is the response of.
Wow, we're already here. I remember you mentioning this a few months ago that something that it was an October thing or somewhere around the fall.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, after Virgo, yeah, because Virgo is basically the completion of all the spiritual work, and so kind of like the bell rings. It's like we're still like in school bell hasn't rung yet. We're not, so we haven't. We're just now getting our new lockers, kind of thing. I mean, that's going to happen now. And so now you're like choose what grade, what classes you want and what your locker is, and by the time when Libra hits, the bell rings. We're going to go back to school. We go back to relating to each other, whereas we've been sort of off in our own world the whole year. You know,
Yeah,
we have
discovering ourselves.
yeah, we're seeing for the yeah. hmm or rediscovering or yeah, all that depends on the
All
person.
right. So, I
So
mean,
this week,
because
yeah,
yeah, that's on track though. So people have been feeling like in the dark cave with, just looking at their self. That's where they should have been.
yes, yeah. I mean, because it's really Virgo Pisces, and then later in the year Pisces Virgo. So they're not one sign. So I mean, they're not two signs; they're one sign with two polarities, right? So So now we're in the illusion, right? And we're wondering what home is really like. Who are we really? Because this is the illusion, obviously. And so next year in Pisces, we'll be in the spirit of who we are, and looking down an illusion like what the hell is that? So we just get for polarities. But now, for the first time, we realize it's with an illusion, and we're starting to realize it. It's funny how artificial intelligence, by something becoming artificially intelligent, it certainly reveals, where real intelligence is, right? Like kind of thing, and what really isn't intelligent, what's true and what's not true. So it's a real eye opener this year. Um, yeah, you just got to keep
Yeah,
going. Yeah,
it is crazy because it's like some things we're all just getting so sick of AI in certain instances, and it was like the honeymoon moon phase is like it was quick, and it's just like gosh, I don't want to read anything written by AI. Like in the beginning, it was like this is awesome, it can create it, like, and now it's just like it's
well, the
it
fears caught up to us. So what you think?
the fear.
Yeah. Well, this is another thing. I mean, we have a deep, deep, deep wound, and that's that we blew ourselves up one time.
Mm,
I mean, the last wound that has not been healed is Atlantis. Look, we can look at. We already know this. Forget Atlantis. Every time they dig up a city, where the fuck where to go?
yeah, it
We
got blow
know.
up.
Every time we dig something up, we know we go extinct all the time. Like something keeps happening. Like where the whole city under dirt. How the hell happened? Like that. It's clearly in the record. So the the fear is, the big flood, all this stuff. The fear is that, dinosaurs are dead, like they died. So what happened to them? So there's the big fear is that we'll cease to exist. That's our biggest fear. And so that's what we have to face. And that's enlightenment. It's like that's an illusion, actually. It's like, what if I told you you never die?
Right.
You never will die ever. Like, well, that's very exciting to me, like, because I like who I am. And so the idea of me like dying and not even know I died, because no afterlife to know you did, that's terrifying to me. Like, you're dead and you don't even know you're dead.
Right. It's just you
Just don't
cease to
blink out, just
exist.
out. Yeah. Something so fabulous, amazing, gone. I mean, so incredible, gone. Like it's like, wow, that's scary. And that tells you right there, like, that's scary because that's so unknown. That's unknown because it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, so if you look at logic, you can only be terrified. Mostly, our biggest terror is of the unknown for most humans, right? But like the idea of not existing, we know nothing about that. Like, talk about the unknown. Even it results in not knowing. Right? Like it's like quantum unknown, right? And so, therefore, if it was known, it would not exist. We would have lived afterwards to tell it, which means, it cannot be this unknown unless it does not exist. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, the idea that if you go to sleep and you're dead and you know nothing afterwards, there's no cumulative knowledge of that at all. We have no evidence of it whatsoever. It's completely not known if that's the case, right? Of the unknown. Like you just die and end up with nothing. So it's like if there's nothing known about it at all, then it's clearly a fear, because the deepest core of a fear is the unknown.
Right. There's zero evidence that that is the case. In fact, there's tons of evidence of contrary of near death experiences and
Yeah,
etc.
so much, a plethora. You know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we're just coming out of a bad trip, man. Called
So,
Earth.
hey, so you just brought up something about like buried cities and civilizations, and I mean there's mountains that have like
Yes. No.
building structures inside of it, like 5 levels of it that go back 100,000 years. And as our radar and our imaging technology get more and more advanced, we're able to start seeing into the earth and just realize that like is is it possible that this is just a game like you're saying, and that we're just like this is like the board game that we're like, okay, we learned all that we could, we fucked up this time, let's just clear the slate, let's throw dirt all over everything and like let's start over. Like, is that a possibility that it's like a global reset happening?
Oh well. This time the reset is in the hands of the players. You know. There's only been some chosen few players, and that's probably a mistake Heaven made. Heaven was completely in control of Earth at first. Complete control. Like they did not let any of Earth govern itself. And so look what they had. they're learning too. And so, and what turned of it? Well, then the opposite. Bad guys completely on the earth. Like they created the problem. And they're aware of it too. And they take responsibility for it too. Like they don't have any problems with it. Um, but the point is that it's funny, but Atlantis, pre-Atlantis. Now Atlantis lived for like, from what I understand, like 3 to 5 thousand years, just fine. You know,
One lifetime.
no, no, like the country lived 3 to 5 thousand
All
years.
right.
We've lived. The United States lived like just shy of 400, right? So the United States like
Right.
just shy of 400 years,
Yeah,
and
we're babies. We're
every
teenagers.
every country is a baby. Like they don't. So the point is like they managed to stay alive for that long. So they went through a whole bunch. I mean, so much stuff that we've never even gotten to yet. Like as far as maturing stuff is concerned. Um, but apparently, over the time, they were if they started off as absolutely perfect, and they lived just like total utopia for a long time, and that sort of fell apart. Because utopia was constructed through control. You know, so and at the time, the very beginning, women were in control, men were slaves.
Hmm.
It was the opposite. So there's a lot of talk of like return the female, divine feminine. I'm like, fuck that, because I remember the worst slave life of my lifetimes. When we were in control. The truth is that it goes both ways as far as who can cheat and who can do whatnot. But they saw men as working sex slaves. Just kind of too dumb because we were lacking certain processing ability that women innately have. Having a womb and having children, they are more intelligent about a lot of things than we are by nature. I mean, now it's becoming equal because of education and stuff like that. But so, anyways, so basically, the first world went down with women, running. I mean, the first and last went down with women running it. But prior to that, women were trusted by the angels, who basically apparently were insisting on having pretty much. It was their law. It was their way. Period. There was no voting. People didn't have a right to have any control. And probably it's because of the youth of them, from what I understand. Humans had no experience, so why would they be in control? Kind of thing. But the net result is you set up this protocol of very few controlling everything.
Hmm.
And that protocol didn't stop. So what starts as a good thing can become the thing that ends up doing the worst to you. A lot of times people's talent is what hurts them. You know, It's like someone's like really talented at being strong will drink and drink and drink and drink. Like their talent gets them up in the morning drinking. It makes them enables them as alcoholic. And their intelligence enables them to live a double life. And so most of the time, our intelligence actually enables our sin or our the things that we do against ourselves.
The
Or
shadow, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Shadow
it's a
to our gift.
paradox. Yeah. So I mean, this week is kind of a simple philosophical week. There's something that there's a life you want, and that leads to the character you have to be. You know, so it kind of goes that direction. You want what life do you want? What do you want to live every morning? How do you want to wake up? You really got to kind of redesign it from the bottom up and just say, hey, if I can reinvent everything, what would I do? People are like, oh, I build a community in the desert. I wouldn't. That's fucking boring as hell. I mean, I'm in a desert, but I'm telling you, it's like, and then what? You create this, cool, clean water system. That's awesome. But then what do we do? You know, kind of thing. I mean, people are thinking a couple steps ahead. I think now they're going to start to think a few steps, like it doesn't, And something's going to make us think that way. There's definitely something to interfere here any second now.
Well, how you want to wake up in the morning is a good start because you can always just wake up an hour earlier and do that extra thing and try on that hat.
I think I'm a thrill junkie. I'm always going for what's exciting, and I don't know if it's bad. I mean, I don't get it very often, so, but at the end of the day, I think we all want happiness and fun.
Yeah, you just reminded me of a mistake I made because there I had a business associate that was also like that, just like the answer is whatever's most exciting. And I was trying to make a decision, and he just said like, I forget the exact words he said. It's slipping my mind right now, but I just remember the way he said it was like, "This is the way because it's so much more exciting." It definitely wasn't what I felt, but yeah, I found out that it wasn't the way. But for him, it would have been probably fine. For me, I don't have the capacity to do that.
Have fun every day.
No, um, glory. You said what one is going to which choice is more glorious?
Mm.
But it was very little logic or thinking about that. I could have thought it through a little bit better. Anyways,
Well, yeah, no, actually, you should. You could have let your heart answer.
yeah,
I mean, I think that's the lesson. Not to shame or say you're wrong. I'm saying, I feel we're going wrong as humans. Is that the mind's not supposed to come up with it? It's like
yeah,
it's like,
that was I was in the mind the whole time in this
you know,
particular story.
which just has an agenda to be right. So, according to who? You know, according to who? According to yourself. It's right for you. You know, we'll see. I think we'll come out of this. But yeah, something rocky is going to happen in Libra, and that's going to get us all on our toes again. So y'all enjoy this moment of quiet with yourself. Just enjoy it because it won't be long. And what you'll be committing to by the end of the week is what you want your life to become. Daily life, mundane, right? And for those who are already building the life they want to come, it's like the next floor. Okay, now this floor, now this floor. So it's not always a brand new thing when we say this. It's Serious Joy. It's sometimes a thing you've been working on already, but now, yes, taking the same step that Chris has suggested. So the step will be there. You're going to take step up, and I think we're going to start building. We're real close. I mean, I hear a lot of talk about communities. Like people are ready to like move away from the cities and move into near each other. A lot of communal stuff going on. I've noticed a lot of legit. What's the word?
Communities
Migration.
migrating.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, people are moving out of LA. Like U-Haul can't even stock this state with trucks because everybody's taking them out.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Cali's. Yeah. Something's fishy about Cali. I mean, I would say that if you live west of the mountains, which most people do,
Yeah,
some not right. It's been that way forever, though. I mean, we've all known it our whole lives. We said the big one's coming or whatever.
yeah.
Again, because we kind of, again, the Atlantis wound kind of multiplies all this stuff, so it makes it worse than it is. But no, there's something legit. Something legit. I was just there over the weekend, and again, I felt like the rumble. Something is growling over there.
Man, I've lived here for 20 years and I feel that. I felt that the whole time, but it's so easy to ignore. It's
Hmm.
so easy to ignore because just the heightened state of everything else is also here. But there's this underlying frequency, this buzz that is like irritating a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and it's getting louder. You know, but we're also getting wiser. And we're hearing it more. So, you know, I'm impatient with this part of the game usually. Just come out already. Tell us who are you? What it's about. We're close to that though. We think that gameplay starts in October, really. So the game is starting now in the sense that you're setting up all the pieces on the board, and you're organizing your game right now and preparing it. And the character enters Libra Zero into the game.
What do you remember what date Libra Zero is?
October 20th. No, that's September 22nd, I think.
Somewhere around there, yeah, the
Somewhere
end
around
of
there.
September.
Hmm.
So, all right, so this week to me, if I'm hearing right, is cutting off, detaching during the week, and then deciding who we are. And the weekend, there's going to be some way of fortifying that new version of ourselves.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Somehow. Well, I've been throwing like a lot of tests, like even the theft thing. It's like making me like want to bring out inside myself to fight him. Like, no, put the suit back in the closet. It's so outdated, But some of this is dismissal, still dismissal. Some of the choosing is dismissing. You have to dismiss before you can choose, anyways. You gotta make room in the closet. So you gotta say, "I'm tired of this side. This side, I mean, gotta go. Hit the road, Jack." And then the new suit comes.
Right. Yeah.
So for a lot of people, it's getting rid of stuff. In fact, that's what this week really is. This week is really you flush stuff down the toilet
The
because
last test.
well, the last flush, like because the sun is going to cross over the south node in Virgo at 18 degrees and oppose 9/11, the sun of 9/11, 18 degrees Pisces. Actually, it's Virgo, excuse me. So the sun crosses 18 Virgo, which is where the North Node is. And the moon before that crosses, is that right? No, the moon crosses the front and then the sun crosses the second. So what that means is we emotionally get inspired. We emotionally get inspired this week to like go forward and do like we've never done before. And the heart crosses the low spot and goes to the bathroom, like there's a flush. So the sun is going to flush something out. And when you're going to flush out is like a behavior pattern, basically. With the nodes are at 18, it's behavior pattern.
Okay.
So people have like certain patterns that are keeping them stuck. In some cases, people go, I know why I'm stuck. And it's like, do you smoke cigarettes? Because, that alone says it pretty much keeps you stuck. Your brain doesn't change. So it's things, there's some things you keep doing that keep you stuck other places. And so what you might need to do this week is getting rid of something that keeps you stuck in lots of places. You don't realize if it does.
Right. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a good rundown for this week. And we had an amazing beginning part of the show.
Even before I
Uh,
came on?
no, no, no.
Oh,
When
okay.
you came on and we
Oh,
just talked story about our lives.
that
Um,
was good. Yeah, we should cut that up. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
good. Yeah, we'll have
But
to do something special, Raw. I don't know what it'll be. Like you and I in Egypt. I don't know, something. Yeah. Well, yeah,
yeah,
one day. I
the
know
the
you
next
got plans
Atlantis.
coming. Could be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You got a little Atlantean probably in the oven, right? So
yeah. Things are
not
changing.
that's not a Hansel Gretel way. That's a you know,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye everyone. Have a good week.
Chris, see you next week. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
brother. Always a pleasure. Ciao.